Welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. Breaking news here today is that Ezekiel Elliott is among, quote-unquote, several Cowboys players who have tested positive for COVID-19. Ezekiel Elliott's agent has confirmed this. He also said that Zeke is feeling good right now. What we know for a fact, by the way, is that Zeke was out at Citizen Nightclub in Dallas Sunday, June 7th, wasn't wearing a mask, and at least two other people who were also at that club have tested positive for COVID-19. So that is the breaking news here on today's show, that Elliott has tested positive for COVID-19. We'll break it all down, what it means. Of course, I want to hear from you guys as well. How worried are you guys about Zeke? Let me know on a scale from 1 to 10. Get some shout-outs here as well. Winston says 6. I see 10, 110, 7, 6, 1, 7, 2, 2, 7, 5, 7, 10, 2, 6, 1, 1, 5. So all over the map, which I'm not surprised by that. I'm also not surprised Elliott's the first known Cowboy to have tested positive, since he often suffers from FOMA and fear of missing out on top of that. I'm very curious to see what the overall results are here. I see 10s, I see 0s, I see nobody cares. In terms of Zeke's long-term health, I'm not concerned at all. Like, he's a healthy young man. He's a football player. He's going to be just fine. He's feeling pretty well right now on top of that. So I'm not surprised by that whatsoever. I am not surprised that it's so much different here from 1s to 10s. For Zeke himself, I'm not overly concerned. I do have at least some minor concerns about how it's all going to get going for the NFL season. I expect that they're going to more or less force a season to happen. At the same time, if players keep testing positive, are they going to go through with it in the same way that they've been planning there? So I don't know what's going to end up happening on that front. Again, for those of you just now tuning in here live on YouTube, Zeke Elliott is among the, quote-unquote, several Cowboys players to have tested positive for COVID-19. Zeke's agent says Zeke's feeling good right now. And what we can report here is that Elliott was at Citizen Nightclub here, uptown Dallas, Sunday, June 7th, and he was not wearing a mask. We can also say that at least two other people who were at the club that night also have tested positive. So that was the last time we know for a fact that Zeke went out there. And welcome into the Cowboys Report. The breaking news here today is that Ezekiel Elliott has tested positive for COVID-19. He does have the coronavirus. That's been confirmed by Zeke's agent, initially reported by Ian Rappaport. The update from Zeke's agent is that Zeke's feeling good right now. Everything's good on that front. What we can report here exclusively at the Cowboys Report is that Zeke was out at a nightclub here in Dallas back on Sunday, June 7th, wasn't wearing a mask, and that two other people, at minimum, also have tested positive for the coronavirus who were at the nightclub that night. So that's the update on Elliott. He does have coronavirus. If you're looking for a more positive side of this whole thing here, it's that he should be fully healthy and good to go whenever training camp ends up, starting back up here. So I am curious to see how that all ends up shaping up and all of that, and the impact on that front. Not great news here for the Cowboys and for Elliott. And it also, of course, brings some concerns about what the season's going to end up looking like. Is it going to be a full normal season? Is it going to be different? I think that's a very fair question at this point, with just the uncertainty around what's going to happen for the Cowboys and for the NFL. So will there be a season? Y for yes, B for no. I think that, yes, the season does end up happening. I think that's the likely outcome here, is that there will be a season. That the NFL will find a way to make sure that it ends up happening. I see almost all yeses flowing in right now. But I think the unfortunate reality of what's going to happen for the NFL, especially as the states in the country begin to fully reopen, players are going to test positive. This is what's going to happen. I don't think we're going to suddenly close back down. We're going to slow down. I think that this is the route we're trending, especially in Texas, especially across the nation, that there are going to be positive tests. There are going to be more, and we're going to just try and scroll right through it and go right on by here. It's unfortunate for Elliott because, well, it's once again him in the news for not great reasons. Seems that every offseason, every year, there's something going on with Zeke that isn't what Cowboys fans want to have. On the field, he's been great. He's been a top 5 back in the NFL. You could legitimately argue the best back in the NFL. But I see it in the comment section, and I understand the frustration from those of you who are disappointed in Elliott. And I think I speak for most of us here when I say, unfortunately, I'm not very surprised. I mean, Dak and Zeke both kind of got in some trouble for having that party, however many people were actually there at that event for one of Dak's friends. Look, if you had to put money on which Cowboys player was most likely to test positive first, I think, fair or not, Elliott would have been the betting favorite here. So I see mostly ends coming in here from Badmon and Camden and working hard and Danielle Gant and Goat James and all of them. The Poncho says end there. It makes sense. Like, of the players who suffer from FOMA, fear of missing out, Zeke's certainly up there. I guess I'm not surprised. And it does sound like this was, by the way, a more recent positive test. So toss out that earlier Dak party. I don't think that had any impact on Zeke testing positive. Although I will make note, Dak and Zeke are quite tight. We'll see what other of the Cowboys players end up having it in the end. Now, Zeke was not wearing a mask. The easy way for you guys to be safe out there is to wear a mask. Again, there are Cowboys masks on sale. The backload is still there a little bit. So you can go check them out, chatsports.com/CowboysMask. That's chatsports.com/CowboysMask. Texas is saying we're going to be allowed to go to football games this year. If we're allowed to go, we're probably going to have to, or at least are going to be heavily, heavily encouraged to wear masks. It's chatsports.com/CowboysMask. Links in the comments, and it's in the description. Again, a whole bunch of people coming in right now here on YouTube. Zeke Elliott has tested positive for the coronavirus, COVID-19. One of allegedly several Cowboys and Texans players who have tested positive. Do not know yet any of the other names who have tested positive there. I'm not overly surprised by that one. I think for the most part, the teams and players, everyone involved, are going to try and keep that a little bit quiet, at least to the best of their abilities. Elliott's agent, though, did confirm that Zeke is among them. Feeling good right now is the report from Elliott's agent. What we can tell you guys here is that Zeke was out at a nightclub here in downtown Dallas back on Sunday, June 7th. He was not wearing a mask during that time frame, and that at least 2 other people at that nightclub have also tested positive for the coronavirus. For the Cowboys, as we move forward and into the offseason and training camp coming up in a month-ish, we don't really know when training camp is going to be yet. In theory, Elliott's going to be fine by then. He's going to be fully healthy. He'll have gotten over it, and he'll be back at camp, and it's not even going to impact the season or the preseason or anything. If for whatever reason Zeke does miss time or whatever, there is Tony Pollard as the top backup for the Cowboys. Good thing Pollard's on the team. As it relates to the season, of course, Elliott's health is a far more important factor in all of this, but this is the Cowboys Report, so we mentioned the Zeke health side of it. Talk about the on-field side of it as well. I think he'll be fine. I don't think it's really going to impact the Cowboys on that front. And Zeke's a healthy, young football player, playing athlete. I'm not really that concerned about his long-term health. I think he's going to be just fine. But I think there are some concerns about the long-term football season side of it. If players keep testing positive, what's the NFL going to do? I think the unfortunate reality is that, especially as the states open back up, there are going to be more positive tests. There are going to be more Cowboys players who end up testing positive. We know that Dak and Zeke are both very tight. And that, of course, that's not the case for just those 2, but for several players on the team. So we'll see what ends up happening there. And the Cowboys org did put out a statement here basically saying, due to federal and local privacy laws, we are unable to provide information regarding the personal health of any of our employees. Basically saying, hey, we're not going to comment on Zeke because we can't from a legal perspective. But Elliott's agent has confirmed this. Elliott does have COVID-19. I saw some questions in there about maybe a positive or a false positive. Doesn't seem like that's the case whatsoever. Now, in light of the Zeke news, when we've asked you guys this before, you've always said, 1, for yes, you're going to go to a game this season, or at least you would consider it. Will you, if allowed, go to a Cowboys game this season? 1 for yes, 0 for no. Will you go to a game? I see a 0 from Shield. I see a 1 from the Popos and L2 Gaming. 1 from Greg G. 1 from Luke Diaz. 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Almost all ones. So I don't see much change there in terms of the reaction of by the time we get to September and October and November, you're going to feel, for the most part, comfortable. Although I do want to shout out Eric, who says 0, I'm broke. It's fair. That's very fair. Hey, Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.